Beautiful is your rising in the horizon of heaven, living sun. You who were first at the beginning of things. You shine in the horizon of the east. You fill every land with your beauty. You are beautiful and great and shining.
The words of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh giving thanks for the sun, written more than 2,000 years ago. On the 11th of August 1999, that same sun was blotted out in the sky over Britain, the first total eclipse witnessed in this country for 72 years. Eclipse mania is nothing new. People have been queuing up across the ages to book their ringside seats for the greatest show on Earth. And throughout this century, news cameras have captured the moment. Eclipse 99 was no exception, and from the Scillies to Scotland, people took time off and turned their attention skywards. Thousands of people converged on Cornwall for the best view of the last total eclipse of the 20th century. Many took to the sea, hoping to experience the eclipse away from the crowds on land. A solar eclipse happens somewhere in the world every time the orbiting moon lines up perfectly between the Earth and the Sun. On average, this happens once every 18 months. During an eclipse, the Sun and the Moon appear the same size, because although the Sun is 400 times as big as the Moon, it also happens to be 400 times further away. The shadow cast during a total eclipse is known as the zone of totality, and as the world spins, so the shadow travels over the Earth's surface. For hundreds of kilometers either side, the Moon only partially obscures the Sun. In 1999, the full shadow passed over the tip of Devon and Cornwall. The rest of the country saw a partial eclipse, with up to 95% of the Sun's surface covered across the south of England. And over the years, scientists have perfected increasingly ingenious ways of capturing this momentous event for posterity. last total eclipse on mainland Britain was back in 1927. The sun was blotted out for just 25 seconds, and the zone of totality was only 50 kilometres wide. And news cameras have been on hand to capture many of the 20th century's other great eclipse events.
A total eclipse of the sun, the most awesome of heavenly dramas, finds cameramen in Minneapolis boarding a special solar flight to film the spectacular sky show. 30,000 feet above the Earth, passengers strain forward as the dramatic moment nears. The moon's shadow, traveling at 3,000 miles an hour, devouring the brilliance of the sun. An eerie twilight settles over the Earth. This is it, the total eclipse, a 75-mile wide band of darkness stretching 8,000 miles across the horizon from Nebraska to Pakistan.
Every instrument at the command of science was employed to record the total eclipse of the sun. Mammoth cameras focused on the sky, while an army of astronomers stood by waiting. But they were only a portion of the countless millions who gazed skyward, including the president himself. The latter's position between the sun and Earth caused the complete eclipse over a portion of the Earth directly in its shadow. A band 100 miles wide and 6,000 miles long, over which the lunar shadow moved at the rate of 2,000 miles an hour into the Atlantic Ocean. At this point, twilight descended on the cities in the eclipse belt, and now the moon rapidly approached the climax of the spectacle, the total eclipse, which lasted for 100 seconds.
Most of the people of historic Florence were up before sunrise that morning. Not much hardship, perhaps, as it didn't rise very early over the River Arno in February. Still, it was a bit sooner than most of them are usually about. The attraction, the eclipse of the sun. They had grandstand places, Florence, with its famous observatory, being right in the belt of the promised total darkness. For astronomers, it was the biggest day in several years. They expected to learn a lot, having everything necessary to see it all perfectly. As soon as it became light, it grew dark again. The hens couldn't understand. They went back to bed. And obviously, the poor dog didn't like it. As the sky was clear, the people of Florence had a splendid view. But never mind if you missed it. Stick around. There'll be another eclipse just as good in 1999.
The eclipse will pass over the island's observatories and give an ideal view of the celestial event. It will also pass over some of the best holiday resorts in the world. So it's not just the scientists who are delighted with the venue. Planes are taking off and landing every minute and a half, bringing tens of thousands of tourists.
The light is fading fast. The totality is nearly on us. In a moment you'll see the moon shadow rushing across the sea.
Approximate 5 seconds. Approximate 5 seconds.
The sunlight coming through a valley on the moon's rim. The diamond ring.
3 paraboloidal reflectors, dishes for short, one of them movable, the other 2 fixed, are a striking feature of the Science Research Council radio telescope at Cambridge.
A total solar eclipse has always been an exciting time for scientists and astronomers. The event provides important information on how our nearest star is evolving.
The telescope is receiving signals from deep space, from astral bodies infinitely more distant than so far recorded. Nowhere does the term astronomical distance mean so much as in this observatory, where they've had signals from more than 8,000 million light years from the Earth.
A flying observatory races the moon's shadow, with 30 scientists and astronaut Scott Carpenter studying the eclipse of the sun. Streaking along over Canada, the men and women perform 20 experiments in the 2 minutes and 22 seconds they are in the total eclipse. Another part of this massive and highly ambitious probing into the secrets of an eclipse is conducted in the joint U.S.-Canadian station at Churchill, Manitoba. Highly sensitive equipment includes antennas to pick up disturbances along the path of darkness. Rockets record data gathered far above the shrouding of the Earth's atmosphere. From this unprecedented research, meteorologists hope to obtain significant new clues about the sun, Perhaps improved methods for predicting solar flares with their radiation danger to astronauts. They might even learn something of the solar effects on triggering weather on Earth. It's the last total eclipse until 1970, and scientists are making the most of it.
An eclipse is the only time that the incandescent outer rim of the sun, the corona, becomes visible. Bright red flares of hydrogen gas, known as prominences, can be seen shooting away from the surface. Astronomers are also able to see the spectacular solar winds, streams of particles flying outwards in all directions.
That is absolutely incredible. You could just see the sun through there. That's amazing. There's a little gap in the clouds, almost as if there was something supernatural about that. And the crowd just went wild. That was absolutely amazing. And there's flashes, there's all around, there's photographs going off. Look at this is incredible. That is absolutely amazing. It's getting very, very dark. It feels like as if there was probably about 15 minutes to go now until nightfall.
While cloud obscures the view from the ground, at 11 minutes past 11 exactly, the Hercules captures the spectacular moment of totality. The corona appears, and two huge prominences are clearly visible.
There's cameras going off absolutely everywhere. That is incredible. That's absolutely bizarre. I never thought it'd be anything like this. You can actually see the towns suddenly lit up in the daytime because all the lights have come on as it got dark. That's really weird. It's really getting very, very dark now. It feels now as if you're pretty well going to bed. I feel a bit tired, actually.
You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams. You're watching Sleepcore, media for insomnia.
It is early July, 1991. The place is the Big Island of Hawaii, a land blessed by the sun. But this week, 20,000 people are pouring in, not to worship the sun, but to watch it disappear. This is the year of the great Hawaiian solar eclipse. In recent years, eclipses have become a kind of carnival, and this one is no exception.
Stockstill for helping to put this all together. Thank you from the Hyatt Regency Waikoloa.
But the Hawaiian eclipse is more than a tourist spectacle. For solar scientists, it is the chance of a lifetime.
Thank you very much for being with us this morning.
An accident of geography makes the difference. This is Mauna Kea, at 13,800 feet, the highest peak in the Pacific. On its summit ridge stand some of the most important astronomical observatories in the world. The telescopes here explore the deepest reaches of the night sky, searching for black holes, distant galaxies, curious stars. But at 7:28 a.m. on July 11th, 1991, these telescopes will point directly at the sun, the nearest star of them all. This is the first time that an eclipse will occur over such a major observatory. Astronomers have come from around the world to peer into the mysteries that can be seen only during the 4 minutes when sun and moon meet.
Things really getting to me. It's covered, right?
It looks like something's coming. You know, like two things. So
you can't really tell if it's
on the right, is it? I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute.
It kind of looks like it.
Now I lost the place totally now.
It's the eclipse observer's nightmare. With 15 minutes to go to totality, the clouds top the crest of Mauna Kea's summit ridge. As the moon covers the sun, the temperature drops just a little. The clouds sink a few hundred feet below the summit. It's enough. On the coast, it's a different picture.
And here goes my project. I mean,
I know.
who knows? Maybe God will listen to us and help us out here.
What? It's a huge prominence.
Yeah.
Do we want the prominence?
You'll get it.
Oh, hey, this is great. We got prominences the size of a Buick.
Didn't go perfect, you know, they always screw up a little bit, but it was good. Why, I can't wait to see the data.
This is what the sun looks like to a radio telescope, and this trace contains an important discovery. It reveals an inner atmosphere 4 times more densely packed than predicted. It is a startling finding, one that could help explain the abrupt change between the 6,000-degree solar surface and the million-degree corona.
We were a little bit anxious, I would say half an hour before, because this cooling, you know, started, and well, you never know what could happen even at 4,200 meters.
This is what did happen. The Canada-France-Hawaii team obtained some of the best photographs ever taken during an eclipse. These images of the inner corona contain the finest details ever recorded in the solar atmosphere. These are sights that literally no one has ever seen before. For 4 minutes on the morning of July 11th, 1991, the moon and sun crossed paths. It was, as those who saw it knew, the eclipse of the century.